everyone, it's our favorite retard from MTV News that thinks every single thing on earth is racist.
Supreme victory!
Showing ID before you vote is no big deal. Everyone has ID, right?
Not everyone has an ID, but it's no big fucking deal.
In case you haven't noticed, the presidential election is almost here. Soon, everybody can go to the polls and cast their ballots to decide the fate of America. Well, almost everybody.
So please explain to me how voting is fucking racist towards old elderly people and somehow bald eagles are racist too because it carried her away.
Since 2008, 10 states have successfully implemented strict voter ID laws that are meant to prevent voter fraud, but in reality, make it harder for a lot of people to vote.
Yeah, those things go hand in hand, you know, it makes it stricter, so it's gonna make it harder. But the whole point is, yeah, to combat voter fraud. You don't want to make it too easy, so you can commit voter fraud all easily. I mean, hello?
3 of them make you show either a photo ID, like a driver's license, or non-photo ID, like a bill with your name on it, before you can vote at the polls. The other 7 will only let you vote if you have a photo ID. So depending on where you live, what you need to do to vote in our national election can be totally different. America!
I still fail to see the fucking problem.
The kind of fraud voter ID laws claim to prevent practically never happens. In fact, a report concluded that voter impersonation is rarer than being struck by lightning. Even FoxNews.com reported that this kind of voter fraud rarely happens. Wait, did I just agree with Fox News? Oh my god! So why even bother having voter ID laws at all? Good old-fashioned voter suppression with a dash of racism and classism for good measure. Requiring voters to have ID seems like a harmless precaution until you realize the majority of people lacking ID are either elderly, poor, and aren't white. And frequently, they're all 3.
So because a lot of old, poor minorities don't want to vote or get a fucking ID, that automatically makes it racist? Get the fuck out of here.
Statistically, African American and Latinx voters are much less likely than white voters to have the qualifying IDs required by states with voter ID laws. They're also disproportionately likely to be low income. Even when a state offers free photo ID, these residents may not be able to afford the underlying documents, transportation, or time required to get one. Many Republicans pushing for voter ID claim the laws have nothing to do with race or class.
And they fucking don't. And it doesn't cost that much to get a goddamn ID. Jesus fucking Christ, if you only need to vote, how many times a year do you fucking vote? How many times a year do you vote? Even when it comes to the lower levels, you can't save up $25 fucking dollars in California. Hey, I used to live in Arizona for a little while. It's only $8 fucking dollars. $8 fucking dollars. Like, you're just making excuses to make everything sound fucking racist as usual. But let's keep going. Let me see if I can handle your bullshit anymore.
But in 2013, North Carolina County Precinct GOP Chair Don Yelton told The Daily Show that if the state's new voter ID rule hurts a bunch of lazy blacks who just want the government to give them everything, so be it. Tell us how you really feel, Don.
Let's be real. Niggas is lazy.
Voter ID laws are a classic example of structural racism, which is what makes racism different from prejudice. Prejudice is the individual dislike of a class of people based on a superficial characteristic or stereotype. Racism is racial prejudice plus structural oppression and power that negatively impacts a group.
No, it's fucking not. You and a bunch of dumbass motherfuckers just made that up. That is not what it fucking means. Stop trying to change the English language, goddammit.
Structural racism often exists in the form of policies or laws that may or may not seem overtly racist, but ultimately cause negative consequences for people of color. Pop quiz! What's the best way to make sure racist laws stay on the books and new rules aren't put into place? Ooh, I know! Make it really difficult for people of color to vote!
So have you thought to yourself why it's harder for people of color to vote? Does it really have anything to do with their skin color? I mean, because, you know, money doesn't change. The amount of money you have does not change whether you're fucking black or white or whatever. All you gotta do is obtain said money and then go and get get your voter ID and then vote. I don't know why you're trying to make this a race thing. It doesn't fucking change the situation.
But in 2013, in the case of Shelby County versus Holder, lawmakers argued enough time had passed that it was no longer fair to make these states undergo the extra approval. Because, racism is over.
Fuck.
The Supreme Court agreed. So after Shelby versus Holder, states like Alabama were free to change election laws without approval from the Justice Department. And many of them took advantage of this to create the voter ID laws we see today. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who dissented from the decision, said, "Throwing out pre-clearance, when it has worked and is continuing to work to stop discriminatory changes, is like throwing away your umbrella in a rainstorm because you are not getting wet." And when it comes to racism, it's still raining. A lot.
Yeah, it's still raining a lot to you because you fucking think everything is racist. You will find any single subject and somehow connect fucking racial discrimination to it.
So why does all this matter? Well, beyond ensuring every American has the right to vote, the key to ending structural racism is by replacing it with a better structure. It isn't just about people changing their racist behaviors, although that's certainly part of it. It's also about reassessing the way those behaviors get written into the very laws on which our country stands. And if you're not sure what you need to do to vote in your state, our friends John and Hank Green put together a great YouTube channel called How to Vote in Every State. You should also check out MTV's ElectThis.com to learn more about the election.
Seriously, how the fuck does this chick still have a job? Her dislike to like ratio is off the fucking charts. It's like MTV thinks that they're only fucking shitting on her video because we're all racist or something like that. And they're just still like, fight the power, baby. Fight the power. You're doing so well. You're gonna fucking defeat racism one day. We believe in you. MTV fucking believes in you. Fucking music television, man. Music fucking television. And this ain't fucking news either. Dude, I'm fucking done, dude. I need a fucking drink.